Good morning. Good morning. As you get here, say hello and let me know that you're here as I hit go live in all the places. And my hair's still a little bit wet this morning. I went and dried it a little bit, but I was not taking the time to do it very well. So give me just a minute. All right, let me get back up here, make sure everything's flowing like it should. Looks like it. All right, now give me a moment. Pull this up on my phone. You know the drill. Looks like it. All right, now give me a moment. All right, there we go. Good morning, Carrie. Good morning. Good morning, Sherry. Good to have you here. It's a beautiful morning here. I looked outside. We might have had a little bit of a rain last night, which it's been so dry around here. We could really use some rain. I don't know about where you're at, but it's a beautiful morning. Good morning. Have an early appointment, so I may run out on you guys here too. You're going to run out on us. I get it. Windy and sunny here. Yeah, well, I don't think it's so windy here. It's only 63 outside, but it feels comfortable. Oh, I knew what you meant. It's funny. Have you ever seen those things where they have all um the like a paragraph for you to read, and a lot of the letters are not right, and your brain can fill in and you know exactly what it says? I knew that was an and instead of an and. I didn't even see and. I saw and. Isn't that funny? How our brains work. It's amazing. I'm amazed all the time with what our brains do. I mean, think about it. I remember when I first got bifocals, and windy and cloudy and 55. Oof, that's a bit chilly, but I'm kind of looking forward to the cooler temperatures. That's usually not normally me. I was even telling my sister this morning the time changes on Sunday. And for the first time that I can ever remember, I'm kind of looking forward to the time change. I don't know. Well, something's going on here. I don't know what it is. Carrie, I am coming over to your building to see guys downstairs for manicure pedicures. Ooh, so there's a manicure place downstairs from Carrie? I want it to be hot and I don't want the cool temperatures. But like I said, this year, for some reason, it's just feeling amazing. I'm ready. In your building. Okay, I get it. So what was I saying? Oh, heck, I don't remember. It must not have been important, or it'll come back to me later. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and a full salon. Nice. I have a friend that lives in Atlanta, and she has the building complex where she has a condo. They have all of that underneath, and then they have an actual Publix. So she just goes downstairs with her little cart and gets on the elevator. And so menopause has me loving the cooler temps. I feel you, Sherry. Last night, when I went to bed, it was like, what's the temperature in here? And I went and looked at the thermostat, and I thought, well, it shouldn't be warm, but it feels warm. So for whatever reason, I was having a hot flash last night, and I woke up once with one, and it was like, this is so bizarre. All right, so I'm going to share today's affirmation, and we'll get started. All right, so today's affirmation: I am grateful for the countless blessings in my life. I am fully supported by God, the universe, in every moment. Thank you. So, how do you feel about this one? And this is part of the mantra I say sometimes when I'm walking. Um, it just, for whatever reason, it just feels so good. I spend time and just thinking and listening to the sounds and everything, and part of the time doing this. And actually, I haven't been walking like I used to since I had that hip issue where it was bothering me. And so I'm thinking I'm going to start going back and doing that. Now, isn't that silly that when the weather was so warm and everything, that's when I didn't do it. And now I'm thinking of doing it when the weather is going to be getting cooler. The universe has given me the ability to survive every single Monday that I have experienced. Yes, Sherry, I love that. And remember, anything that comes after the words I am has ultra power. And so it is beneficial to us if we really, really pay attention to our I am statements. And thank you, Carrie. Thank you. And so to me, it's not like you're going to suddenly combust or something if you make the wrong I am statement. I write something similar in my gratitude journal. Ooh, I love it. I love it. But when you think about it, where every time we say the words I am, then we're claiming the next part as truth. And sometimes there's things that we talk about that we really don't want to be true, right? And so when we start recognizing how powerful I am statements are, even if we want to talk about something that's not so good, we can at least take the I am part out of it. So it would be I feel, I think, I've heard something that takes the ownership away. So it's an external thing and not an internal. So that's the way I like looking at it, is that when something's happened external, it's not an I am statement, because that means it's in here. And so we want to be mindful of what we're claiming as part of us, our spirit, our thoughts, our feelings, of us as a human, right? So I love this one, because claiming this one and claiming this to be true, not a bad thing, right? So I am grateful for the countless blessings in my life. Now, first off, that implies that there are countless blessings in your life, right? And then I am, another I am statement, fully supported by God, the universe, in every moment, which presupposes that God, the universe, is supporting you everywhere you go, right? And then another touch of gratitude. Thank you. I am full of gratitude. I'm so grateful for every moment. Yes, Wendy. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. It's to us that have been doing this for a while, this seems like it just is, that's the way it is, right? But there are a lot of people that go through the world and go through life that don't feel so blessed, don't feel so supported. And so for those people, this would feel like a really big stretch, right? And so for those people, and I don't know, there's a lot of people in this group. So I don't know where you that are listening to the replay, or maybe have popped in on the live and haven't said hello or anything like that. I don't know where you are in this journey. So if this feels like that it's not true, even though you may want it to be true, then I would kind of look at how to rephrase this. So it's a journey that you're on. So it could be something like, I am becoming more grateful, or I am grateful for the countless blessings coming into my life. You can tweak it a little bit to make it feel less like a roadblock, because we want you to be able to utilize this to better your life, to uplift your spirit, to raise your vibration, right? And so if you're saying something that you feel like is just like, oh, that's not right at all, that'll never happen, and all that stuff, it just puts the brakes on. It lowers the vibration, it lowers your ability um, to actually make this you, right? And so, however you need to do that, rephrase this, right? So, let me see. What does this say? I am experiencing my own surgery experience through a girlfriend who had her mastectomy yesterday. I'm so trying to help her be positive. She needs that to get through. Yes, so maybe share this with her, maybe it'll help. But one of the things that um and when you're in the middle of something, sometimes it doesn't help, because you got to get that emotion out of what's going on, right? I wear what I call my power bracelet. It says, "Thank you, God." Ooh, I love that, Wendy. So sometimes it's um I know where you're coming from. I know how bad that feels, and I empathize with everything that you're going through. And when you're ready for me to help you to raise up and feel better, I'm here for you, right? Because sometimes it's like, I've talked many, many times, right, about the emotional scale, right? So um, get a copy of this, Wendy, and you can look, if you don't have it already, you can look it up online. There's a lot of them that they look different. They're prettier. This is just a list. But, and then look and see where she's at on there. And then when you do that, then you can figure out where's the next step to take her to, because maybe a positive statement like this is going to be way too far. And I think we have to be very mindful of people's journey. And I'm not just saying this to you, Wendy, about this friend, but I'm saying it to all of us, that because I dated a guy one time, and at that time I didn't know about the emotional scale. I just knew me, and he could get quite depressed. And I told him, I said, well, just choose to be happy. And he was mortified. We ended up splitting up because I couldn't deal with his depression. He couldn't deal with my positivity. And so the thing is that when we see where somebody's at, and we see that, like, for instance, if they're in a place where they're depressed, or there's grief or whatever, just going up to insecurity or guilt or unworthiness is a step up, even though it doesn't sound like it. Going up to jealousy, then hatred, revenge, anger, discouragement. Those are all higher vibrations. So it's a gradual bringing you out, right? And so I was wanting him to go from depression all the way up to happy, which was all the way at the top. And he didn't understand it, and I didn't understand why he couldn't. But the thing is that when we can see where somebody is and just help them move, the one thing that we talk about is 1% change every day creates exponential growth, right? Carrie, it's not, are you talking to me? It's not necessarily a book. It's just, there's an emotional scale. Mine is just a little list that I've got laminated. But if you go on Google and you put emotional scale in the description box, then you can it will show you a whole bunch of them. And some of them are really pretty. They have graphics there. Some of them, it's like a picture of this funnel, and there's all these different things. So look and see if you can find that. And if you can't find one, I will see if I can find one and send it to you. But to me, it works really good just to have this little list that's laminated. It stays right here, and it's in my office, which is where I spend a lot of time. And so I can refer to it often. And I do, because there's times that, I'll have a downtime and I'll look at it to say, okay, where am I on here? You know, what can I do to get up a little bit? And because if we're human, which we all are here, I'm supposing, we're going to have times that we dip down on the emotional scale. It's normal. Like I've talked about before, there's an ebb and flow of life. There's ebb and flow of the world, the oceans, the sky, right? Okay, that's good, Wendy. So Wendy has one. She's going to post it in the group. Yeah, and understanding is so necessary, no matter what's going on in our lives and the people around us. Like I posted that video the other day about you don't know what journey people are on, and it shows several scenarios where somebody's judging something that's going on when they don't even know the story, and so it is being grateful for your blessings in your life, but your blessings and your support from God and the universe gives you that strength and that ability to look at things around you and say, I don't know what their journey is. And for instance, I remember, hold on a second, I got a hair on my eyelash or something. I remember a story of being at a restaurant, and the waitress was not nice at all. And they were having a hard time. They were going table to table, and the people were rude, and she was rude and everything. And it was, I can't remember if I was at a conference and they were telling me about it, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, the group of people that were there that were from the conference, they, when the waitress came over to them, and she was, you could tell she was upset. Things weren't going well. And they said, just don't worry about us right now. We're talking. We just got through with this conference, and we can see that, you're having a hard night, and we don't know why, but, don't let us add to it. And they said that she just stopped in her tracks and she started crying. And she had, right before her shift started, and I don't know why it's going to make me tear up, but right before her shift started, she had found out that her mother had been rushed to the hospital, and they don't really know what's going on, but there was nobody to take her shift, so she had to work, and because she had to make her money, right? And so she was there, even though she was upset. So when she made a mistake because she was upset, and then the people got ugly, then she ended up retaliating in kind, and it was just becoming this domino thing. And she said, you don't know how much I appreciate you guys right here, right now. Thank you. And then she ended up, she kind of, her spirits got a little bit better, but they said at the end, they all gave her this amazingly generous tip and told her, if no matter what, maybe this tip will help you if you need to take off work tomorrow, whatever it is. And said that she cried when she got the tip. And so you just don't know. And I know I've been at restaurants and stuff before, and I think this is not the job for them, because they certainly do not seem very open to being helpful to the people. But I don't know what they were going through, right? So we only know what we're going through in here. And we all have times that it's not so good. However, in that moment, if we're not too far down on the emotional scale, this is the perfect affirmation, right? And then if we are down lower in the scale, then it is rearrange this to be a little bit less happy, less high on the emotional scale, make it feel a little bit better to you. And so whatever you have to do to make it work for you, this is a beautiful one. And it will give you comfort as you go through the rest of your day. I am grateful for the countless blessings in my life. I am fully supported by God, the universe, in every moment. Thank you. And I changed one of the things that I left out of here because I know not everybody is on this high place, and maybe it would be a little bit of a stretch. But when I say this, when I go out walking or when I'm just wandering around the house and all of a sudden this mantra will pop in my head, it's I am grateful for the countless blessings in my life, for there are many. I am fully supported by God, the universe, in every moment. Thank you. And so I left that out. And the main reason, like I said, is because some people may not feel that they have many. So if you do, stick that in. And because this is for you to utilize in whatever way works the best for you. So put it on your sticky note, your index card, the screensaver on your phone. Put it like I do with a chalk marker on the mirror. Put it on a piece of paper and stick it to your fridge, wherever you're going to be seeing it more today, and utilize it to its best use, right? All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and grab the journal prompt. What blessings am I most grateful for today? And how does the support from God, the universe, show up in my life? What blessings am I most grateful for today? Ooh, that's a good one, right? Because then that just presupposes that there's a lot of them, right? So your subconscious mind is going to start looking for them. And you may find that there's blessings that you didn't even recognize. So, like I always say, before you dive into this journal prompt, get your notebook out or your journal out, put the date, the affirmation, and the journal prompt, and then just sit it there with a pen on the ready, right? And then just take some time in silence, whether it's 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is that you can do, and just be silent. Focus on your breath, quiet the chatter in your mind. And the thing that helps me a lot of times to quiet the chatter, because there are certain days it's like chatter, 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 right? What am I going to have for breakfast? My stomach's growling a little bit. What am I going to do here? And who's that? I need to make sure do this email. I need to make sure, and my mind will just be everywhere, right? That chatter will just be going. And I need to quiet it down some. And sometimes just focusing on my breath is not enough. So what I do, and I learned this from a coach, and I don't even remember which one, but to just focus on the sounds in the room, wherever you are. So like right now, the ceiling fan is going. If I wasn't talking and I was being completely silent, I would hear that sound. And sitting right here, I would hear the hum of the computer. I have a little copper bowl downstairs that has these chimes, these bells, these little chimes that go around, these copper bowl things that go around, and when they hit, they go ding, ding, and I can hear that. And so sometimes I can hear somebody doing yard work outside. So what you're doing when you focus on those sounds is you're stopping the chatter, because you can't think two thoughts at the same time. So as you're doing that, then you're getting into your body, into the moment. You're not thinking about tomorrow, last night, in an hour. You're right here immersed. And then when you can just do that, and as you get that focus and you quiet, then you can be thinking of your breath. And then if you want to, as you're doing that, you've already written down your journal prompt, right? And so your subconscious mind knows that it's there. So you don't have to keep asking it all the time as you're sitting there, this journal prompt. It already knows. So you just get into complete silence, just focusing on your breath, listening to your breath as you breathe in and you breathe out. And then when the timer goes off, you just brain dump whatever comes up, because your subconscious mind knows so much that you don't know, you can't remember, or it's a computer full of information. And so when you start brain dumping whatever comes up, don't judge it, don't filter it, don't think, well, that's stupid. Why would I be grateful for that? You don't know. Because one of the things that we've talked about many, many times is that opportunities a lot of times show up as obstacles. And sometimes those obstacles put us in a trajectory where the gold was right over here and we didn't know it. But because this obstacle showed up, we ended up meeting the right person, having the right conversation, or reading the right book. You know what I mean? So the thing is that some of the things that show up that you're grateful for could be an obstacle that you had that in hindsight was a golden opportunity. And so write it down. And then after you've written down as many as come up, then just think, how does the support from God, the universe, show up in my life? And then brain dump about that one too, because your subconscious mind is going to give you golden opportunities to write this stuff down, golden nuggets that you don't even know. And so allow it to do this process for you. And so it's all about you allowing yourself to get quiet enough to listen, right? Thank you, Wendy. You have a great day as well. And Carrie, thank you. Yes, it is true. Very true. And so, I would love to know what your experience is when I just realized I must have had the hanger on I washed this yesterday and I hung it up to dry. So obviously my hanger did a little pucker on here. I'm going to have to get a different hanger to hang this thing on. It's silly, the things that you notice, right? Yeah, it can be difficult at times. But on my podcast, Today's Dream, Tomorrow's Reality, there is not a person that's come on there that had a story of going through something that was not good, that didn't see it as a gift in some way, that sent them in a different direction. Like I've shared many times, one of my first guests, which if you go and look at it, he doesn't show up as first because there was a snafu with the whole thing at one point and everything was deleted off of my podcast. And then the company had to go back and put it all back, but it didn't come back in the right direction. But anyway, the very first guest I had reached out to him because I was in a group that he was in and he shared some of his story. And I thought, oh my gosh, I would love to hear more. And I reached out to him and I said, I'm starting a podcast. Would you like to be a guest? And he said, yeah. So he came on as a guest and he was an amputee. He had diabetes that went way bad. And he had his foot amputated and then he had his leg amputated up to the knee. And he made a statement that blew my mind. He said that it was the best thing that had ever happened to him. Because not only did he start getting his health together, right? But he said he never would, because he became a coach and an inspiration to so many people. He said, if that hadn't happened, this would not be the trajectory I was on. And he said, I am so happy in this space. And it was like, right? How can you have your leg amputated up to the knee and say it's the best thing that ever happened to you, right? And there are others, so many others that have had these amazing things that happened in their life that were not good. And now they love their life. And if it hadn't been for that, they wouldn't be there. I know one of the people I was blown away with her too. And I was blown away with every single one of them. I will say every person that's been on my podcast as just like, wow, the human spirit is so amazing. But this one woman was a phys ed teacher. I don't remember if it was in high school. I think it was in high school. She was a high school phys ed teacher and she did triathlons and she was very, very physical, right? And she was training for a triathlon, and she was on a bicycle. Ah, thank you. She was training for this triathlon, and she was on a bicycle biking in the Colorado mountains. Now, if that don't tell you how fit she was, nothing will. I mean, whoa. If you've ever been into Colorado mountains and you see somebody biking, it's like you're just like in awe. How can they do that? Because it's intense. Not only the altitude, but the doggone mountain, right? So anyway, as she's riding her bicycle, a car ends up hitting her. And she became partially paralyzed to where she was paralyzed from the waist down. And she had to go through extensive rehab. She had so many things. And she finally got where she could stand and walk very short distances, not very much. So she basically lives in a wheelchair. The thing is that what she did from that was she was so blown away with the amount of amazing care that she got. And then she was also blown away with the people that weren't so caring in the nursing industry. And she decided to become a nurse. And they told her when she applied to become a nursing student, they said, you can't do it from a wheelchair. There's no way you can move people from the bed and you can't do all these things. And she said, yes, I can. And they argued the point. And I don't remember off the top of my head what she did, but to get them to change their mind, but they actually did change their mind. And she was required to do every single thing that everybody else that was standing and walking and moving could do. And she did it. She became a nurse. Amazing, right? Now, and she says that if she hadn't had that accident, she never would have dreamed of becoming a nurse. And it became her passion, the thing that she loved, taking care and helping others that ended up having something happen and she could make a difference. She could be that caring person. And so what are you grateful for? How is God showing up in your life? And like I said, hopefully it doesn't have to be something big like these things, right? Maybe God just shows up when you go to the store and you smile at someone and they look like they are so grateful that somebody was kind. Right? I mean, life is amazing. And it can be joyful. It can be blessed. It can be wonderful. And when we look at, like I said, opportunities a lot of times show up as obstacles. So do blessings. And it is not judging the things in your life as good or bad, but seeing how was that support? How was that something that was going to move me in a different direction? Is that possible? Because when you can reframe something that happened in your life and see it as it was meant to be, it is something that helped you in some way. And like, look at Julie in the group. She has her hidden gifts of loss, right? Now, would she have ever started that podcast or this group or anything if her mother hadn't died of cancer like she did and during COVID? Probably not, because it wouldn't have been something that was in her heart. But she's about to do a TED Talk. She's moving things. She's moving people and helping people. So there are so many things that happen in our lives that in the moment we feel that it's a catastrophe. It's a disaster. It's wrong. And if we can take and reframe that and look to see what is the gift in it, what is the thing that this thing is going to change my life. It can change my life to where I am a victim for the rest of my life. or it can change my life to where I am a victor and it has created something in me that I never knew existed. Thank you. Right? So this is not exactly where I was intending for this to go today, but that's where it landed. So, all right. So let me go back and share the affirmation. So our affirmation is, I am grateful for the countless blessings in my life. I am fully supported by God, the universe, in every moment. Thank you. And then our journal prompt. What blessings am I most grateful for today? And how does this support from God, the universe, show up in my life? You're welcome, Carrie. You're welcome. Thank you for being here this morning. All right, so we don't have Wendy here right now. I think she's already left. So let's see, what would be... How about let's just say, have a grateful day. And I will see you tomorrow. What is tomorrow's Saturday. I have to look and see what day it is. Tomorrow's Saturday. I will be here at 9 a.m. Eastern. And I would love for you, and if you have a friend that you want to bring, if there's somebody else in the group, you want to grab them, their hand and bring them in, that would be amazing. So I will see you tomorrow. And I have a new event that I'm about to schedule, and you're going to be excited about that. So I'm waiting on her to send me her headshot and a description, and then we'll have that one in the books. But it's going to be fun. And I'm also going to be scheduling the next Stand Up and Stand Out party. I've got to, now that it's November 1st, I've got to look at my schedule because, this month there's the holiday and I got to make sure that everything fits together, and I've got plenty of time to support everybody that's there. All right. So see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. Mwah.